Hello everyone, I'm Alex Moxon with Racine County Weather. Today is day 3 of Wisconsin's Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week. The topics covered today will be tornado basics and the most common tornado myths. Starting off with tornado basics. A tornado is defined as a violently rotating column of air that touches the ground. The difference between that and a funnel cloud is that a funnel cloud, while it is also a violently rotating column of air, it does not touch the ground. A tornado touches the ground, a funnel cloud does not. A tornado causes damage, a funnel cloud does not. However, a funnel cloud is the beginning stages of a tornado. So if you do see a funnel cloud, it is very important to take shelter. A visible condensation funnel is not necessarily present within a tornado, so sometimes you will not see a tornado coming. It is literally invisible because you cannot see the air movement necessarily, but a lot of times there is a condensation cloud with that. Taking a look at some of Wisconsin's tornado statistics. The peak tornado season for Wisconsin is May through July. However, tornadoes can happen in any month. The peak hours are 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., but again, it can happen at any time of the day. The peak 1 hour period would be between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. The average is 23 tornadoes for a year, and we average 1 fatality every year due to tornado-related injuries. The average tornado will last about 7.1 minutes, and it has a path length, an average of 3.7 miles, and an average path width of about 118 yards. That's less than a tenth of a mile, but of course we do see those tornadoes from time to time that have path lengths of greater than a mile, widths of greater than a mile. Now once again, we'll take a look at the difference between a watch and a warning. A tornado watch is issued by the Storm Prediction Center for a relatively large area. This is typically issued about 2 to 6 hours in advance of the storm's anticipated impact on an area. And some of the watches that are issued for tornado watches and also severe thunderstorm watches can be issued as particularly dangerous situation or PDS watches. These are when we're expecting a tornado outbreak, if you will. Some stronger tornadoes are definitely possible, and that's where you should be prepared to take extra action if a tornado warning is issued. And again, if there is any tornado watch issued, you should be watching the conditions as they develop. A tornado warning is issued by the National Weather Service for an area of less than one county to possibly a few counties. It's typically issued 0 to 45 minutes in advance of the storm's anticipated impact on an area. We've been having increase in lead times lately with the new technology. We've had an increase in lead time of the warning issuance. However, there are some cases where there is no lead time whatsoever. So there are some tornado warnings that are particularly dangerous situation warnings. That's when a devastating tornado is expected. That's where you see the EF4, EF5 tornadoes, and that's definitely when you want to take shelter. But when any tornado warning is issued, you want to be seeking shelter immediately. Now this is my favorite part, taking a look at the most common tornado myths. We have 12 myths that I'll quick go over, and these are while they're kind of fun to look through, they are very important to take a look at so you can better prepare yourself for tornadoes and better understand them. Seek shelter under an overpass. This is a very, very dangerous idea because overpasses will act as wind tunnels. Even though it's going to get you out of the rain and out of the hail and anything, it is a wind tunnel because the wind has to squeeze underneath that overpass, so the winds are going to be even stronger than what they are if you weren't underneath that overpass. And when you're under an overpass, you are not protected by flying debris. Anything can fly at you. The bridge can also collapse, which would be a big problem. You can also be blown away with those higher winds in that wind tunnel, and you might also be blocking traffic if you're pulling over to the side. That could stop others from going to a substantial shelter or emergency vehicles from passing through. So do not seek shelter under an overpass. You should be seeking shelter in a sturdy building. Tornadoes never strike the same place twice. Well, in a place in Kansas, the tornado struck on May 20th of 1916, 1917, and 1918, 3 years in a row on the same day. And in Guy, Arkansas, 3 tornadoes hit the same church on the same day. So therefore, yes, tornadoes can strike the same place twice. Big cities and tall buildings will be protected by tornadoes. No. Here's a list of some cities that have been affected by tornadoes: Miami, Salt Lake City, Birmingham, Oklahoma City, Houston, Fort Worth, Nashville, and of course Joplin, Missouri. These have all been impacted by tornadoes. Now, the typical tornado is about 5 to 10 miles tall. A tall building is typically 500 to 1,000 feet tall. A building that's less than 1/100th of the size of a tornado, and less than 1/1000th of the size of the tornado, is not going to be able to deflect a tornado by any means. Large lakes protect the nearby areas from tornadoes. While lakes do provide local areas of atmospheric stability, a tornado has extreme instability, and therefore it cannot be defeated by just a small local area of stability. Also, the lake breezes that we see, that's typically only in the most shallow parts of the atmosphere. The upper levels of the atmosphere still have that instability. Mountains, rivers, valleys, and there are other structures that are said to be that are said to protect you from tornadoes. While conditions are not favorable for tornado development in these locations, they still have been documented here, so therefore tornadoes can still develop anywhere. Seeking shelter in the southwest corner of your home will protect you from flying debris. That myth was thought of because there was a myth that all tornadoes move to the northeast, from the southwest to the northeast, so therefore the southwest corner would be the safest area because the debris would not fly towards you. However, since then we've learned that tornadoes can travel in any direction. While it's typical for them to travel to the northeast, they don't always do that. So therefore the southwest corner is as safe as any corner, or as any area in your home. The safest place to be is in the basement or in an interior room on the lowest floor of your home, and if you can get under a heavy piece of furniture or a staircase, you have a better chance of surviving. Open windows prior to a tornado striking your house. It's going to equalize the pressure and then your house won't explode. That is a completely useless and time-wasting thing, because no building is 100% airtight. I can guarantee you that. You are not in an airtight home right now. Your pressure inside is the same as the pressure outside. And if you are spending time opening windows as well, not only will you be doing something useless by trying to keep the pressure the same, the pressure will change even if the windows are closed, but you're taking away precious time to seek shelter. And opening windows, while windows don't necessarily give you all that much protection, because it's glass, it's going to take away the limited protection that it does give you. And if a tornado does strike your home, don't worry. If you're still concerned about those windows being closed, don't worry. The tornado will blow the windows open for you. Tornadoes only occur in the late spring and summer in Wisconsin. January 7th, 2008. Need I say anymore? We had tornadoes on that day. We've had tornadoes any month in the year in Wisconsin except for February so far, but there's definitely the potential to see tornadoes any month of the year. The shape and size of a tornado determines its strength. That is not true. A tornado's strength is determined by the wind, and this can only be determined through a damage assessment. The visible part of a tornado, if one exists, is created by condensation, dirt, and or debris. Sometimes there are tornadoes that you cannot see because there is none of that condensation, dirt, or debris blowing up into it. So the shape and size of a tornado does not determine its strength. The significant property or crop damage definitely is the result of a tornado. While tornadoes definitely can be destructive, straight line winds can also be just as powerful. You can have downbursts of speeds up to 150 miles per hour, and that's the same wind speed of an EF3 tornado. So a damage assessment is completed every time a tornado is thought to have gone through an area or a severe storm has moved through to determine whether that would be a straight line wind event or a tornado. Mobile homes attract tornadoes. That is not true. Mobile homes cannot possibly attract a tornado. However, people think that because there are a large number of fatalities in tornadoes from people who have chosen to stay in their mobile homes. This is because mobile homes are not safe at all during tornadoes. You should evacuate all mobile homes immediately because they are not safe. Go to a sturdy building. It's even better to lie in a ditch than to be in a mobile home during a tornado. And lastly, the number of tornadoes has increased due to more favorable weather over the years. The number of documented tornadoes has increased since the 1950s, however, this is likely due to a greater population and a greater amount of storm spotters that have been trained. Many tornadoes have probably went unnoticed and undocumented prior to this time. So while there is more documented tornadoes, that's probably not because the conditions have become more favorable. That's all I have for you for today. Tomorrow's topics are going to be about Wisconsin's tornado statistics and the tornado classification and safety topic, as tomorrow is the statewide tornado drill. That's all I have for you right now. Thank you for joining.